This episode is sponsored by ODP Business Solutions, built to address all your facility needs. Visit odpbusiness.com today. It's my pleasure to welcome back a regular guest, Steve Ashkin, the founder of the Ashkin Group. He is a dedicated professional of all things sustainability. Steve, welcome.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate being here with you, and I appreciate everyone who's listening in to this discussion.
And it's an important one. We're going to talk about this content, this video content will supplement the article, Understanding Climate Risk Reporting. So, great topic. So, let's
I
just
hope
talk about that.
and forgive me, but I hope everyone will read it. It's a good article, and there's lots of important information in it.
Yes, it's a nice piece of content, very important, that's for sure. But let's just look at some of these points. We hear the term sustainability a lot these days. Can you share your thoughts on what we really need to know?
I think the single most important thing for everyone to know about the term sustainability is that it is not about politics. And in some respects, it's not even about the science. It really simply is about companies having enough information to make better decisions. And those decisions are affected by weather-related issues, climate-related issues, worker-related issues, all these other things that often do not show up on a typical financial report but have direct impacts on the health and the future of the business.
So, Steve, I'm looking at the article right now, and in it, it talks about the issue of transparency. Can you explain why this concept is important to you?
Thank you. And I hope all your listeners will really pay attention to this one because I think the term transparency is sort of one of the new words that we need to keep in mind. And basically, what we're trying to point out is all the sustainability reporting, whether it's mandated, whether it's voluntary, what have you, is all trying to get at one very specific thing. And that's the issue of transparency. In some respects, what they're trying to do is to create a Carfax or to create a food nutrition label. So it's all voluntary, right? When I go to the grocery store and I'm looking at a box of cereal, I may care about the amount of calories that are in it, or I may care about the salt content or whatever it happens to be based on my personal issues. Or if I'm buying a car, a used car, I may want to know if it's been in an accident. I don't want to just trust the used car salesperson who will tell me, oh, it's a great car and the color is perfect for me. So these opportunities of transparency to really understand the risks that businesses have, right? So if you enter into business and they get flooded out because they're in a floodplain or they're in a tornado zone or they're in other areas where there can be potential risks, that information will help the buyer make more informed decisions. So this is about transparency. And also it's important to understand that the reporting requirements don't set specific levels of performance. They're not saying that the building has to be XYZ efficient use of fuels or electricity. All it's trying to do is to clearly disclose the information so that purchasers can make a better decision.
You mentioned the Carfax theory, and of course, in the issue of January of last year, so been over a year, you wrote about that. It was a nice piece of information. So thank you for that.
And if you don't mind, if you're listening to this, you can find that article online. But I find in my discussion with clients and prospects when I'm talking about sustainability, the Carfax analogy really is a good one to help them understand what sustainability reporting is really all about. So I'm sure you can find the article online, and maybe Jeff, you can put the URL on, this discussion so they can find it. But it really is an exceptionally effective way to explain what sustainability reporting is. So whether you use a Carfax, you use food nutrition labels, this issue of transparency, standardizing reporting is really a good way for people to think about the issue. And it really is helpful to those who care about specific issues.
Agreed. So if you're watching this down below in the video description, there's a link there to that article. So we'll make sure that ends up there. So Steve, let's talk about this. What do you think is the main driver or drivers of sustainability and the need to report?
So in 2025, the issues have changed substantially. Today, the main driver of sustainability reporting are states and cities that have legislated mandates for people to report on their energy use and climate risks. You know, Jeff, it's interesting. Years ago, we would just bang our heads on the wall trying to tell people if you really care, if you really believe in the future, if you love puppy dogs and bunny rabbits and butterflies, you have to do this stuff. You know, it was a nice to have. Today, it's becoming a must have. Major states like California, like Washington State, Oregon, an increasing number of states, New York's looking at legislation, Illinois is looking at legislation, Massachusetts is looking at legislation. And there's about 50 cities around the country that have reporting requirements. So my message to those listening is, again, this is not about politics. Frankly, it doesn't matter what you personally feel or believe about climate impacts and who caused them. This is a business discussion, and the driver is city and state mandates that are requiring large companies in the cleaning industry, as well as large customers of the cleaning industry, to have to report on their impacts. So today, that's the driver. It is mandatory. And for those who are concerned about what the US federal government's doing or what's going on in other places, it doesn't change the fact what the states are doing. So again, it's not politics, but it's helping clients meet their needs or to be able to supply the information so that they don't have to give your business to a competitor who can provide the information they need for your customers to provide that reporting to the city or state.
So Steve, you touched on the competitive nature of all this. So from a sheer business perspective, why do you think customers care about climate risks and sustainability reporting?
So one, as I just mentioned, it's mandatory in many places. They may not care themselves, but they got to do it. It's just that simple. There are penalties that go along with it. But beyond that, the rationale is pretty simple. Let's say you're a facility manager for a healthcare facility, and you put your purchases of toilet paper and safety supplies out for bid. Now, I'm going to say that having toilet paper is actually really important, right? You never want to be a facility manager where your facility runs out of toilet paper and you need disinfectants, you need safety supplies, you need these things. They're essential products. So when I go out to bid, it might be helpful to know whether that distributor, that supplier, is in a flood zone, in a place where they've been getting flooded every year or two. That's a real climate risk. If they're in a tornado zone, that's a real risk to them being able to conduct business. If they're in a hurricane zone. So it's just understanding risk. That's why they want to do it. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but the fact is, as a distributor, your competitors sell basically the exact same products that you do. And the customers know this. So they at least want to know that your company has assessed your risks and that you've made plans. If there's a major snowstorm so your workers can't show up, what are you going to do? If there's a flood, what are you going to do? And it may mean plans simply like you're managing your warehouse and how you're racking and storing things differently. Or if you're a service provider, how you're managing your workers to make sure your key customers have the labor necessary to maintain healthy and safe facilities. So the driver for our customers is just about smart business and making sure they're managing the risk in their supply chain. It's just good business for them, and we need to respond accordingly.
So you mentioned that it's required to do this kind of reporting. So beyond that, the mandatory reporting, how can these efforts help improve business?
Well, it helps improve business in a number of ways. There's an old business saying that you can't manage what you don't measure. And operational costs are a significant portion of many business expenses. So, paying attention to electricity use or natural gas consumption or the fuels for your vehicles, waters, waste, all of those things have financial implications that if you're able to drive efficiencies, you will drop money. Those savings dollars go directly to your bottom line. And the issue is, do you rather pay your utility company, more money, extra money, or put that extra money in your pocket, right? Or share it with your shareholders or pay your employees more? It's just about being smart and driving efficiencies, and that data will help you, especially if you can kind of benchmark it against other similar buildings to help you understand where the opportunities are for savings. Plus, these issues are only going to continue to increase. And by these issues, I'm talking about reporting requirements. So, putting the processes in place so you can compete for business where the customer is requesting this stuff can also help improve your top line. So I think there really are true business opportunities from both the top line increasing customers and the bottom line reducing costs to make this a strong business proposal.
So, Steve, you live and breathe this, but how can listeners learn more about sustainability and climate risk reporting, and what can they do to improve their business?
Great question, Jeff, and thank you for asking it. And I actually have a really simple answer to that. ISSA a few years ago launched a sustainability initiative. Today, it has over 200 members from 17 or 18 countries who are all focused on really trying to understand what sustainability is and especially how it affects the cleaning industry, right? Right, we're not a hospital. We don't make drugs. We don't make airplanes, right? We are in the cleaning business. So this committee has come together to really understand what cleaning product manufacturers need to do, what distributors of cleaning products need to do, what service providers, whether you're in-house, whether you are a contractor, whether whatever your business entity is, have come together to really try to not only structure sustainability reporting to make it easy for you, but also providing training programs and the ability to actually track your impacts. Plus, we're putting together benchmarking to make it easier for you to identify opportunities for improvement. So I highly recommend that everyone listening join ISSA Sustainability Committee. Jeff, please put the URL at the bottom of the page. The cost is absolutely free. Jeff, did I mention that it's free?
I think you did.
Okay, and free is good, right?
Free is good. It's a good price.
It is. So join the committee. It's easy to do. We meet once a month. We have 5 work groups. It's a great opportunity to work with your peers and help us create the future. The last thing I want to do is to have some bureaucrat say this is what the cleaning industry should do while they know nothing about the cleaning industry. We need to be the experts on what these issues mean to our industry, help develop the policies, and really help our industry succeed to really not only demonstrate the value of cleaning, but the role that we play in society and creating the future.